the GOP, coming forward with its findings here from the U.S. House of Representatives, all about that influence scheme that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden may have been peddling. That is the accusation, to the tune of $27 million. That's how much the Biden family was alleged to have made. Fox coming out with the report first thing.
This is a Fox News alert. All new this morning, House Republicans finding President Biden and his family received more than $27 million from foreign individuals and entities since 2014. Lawmakers call it an impeachable conduct. Brooke Singman is in Chicago with this story. Brooke, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Ainsley. I obtained a copy of this 292-page report from House Republicans. They're on the House Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means committees, and they've been leading this impeachment inquiry against President Biden for months. So they said their investigation found that President Biden engaged in impeachable conduct and said he abused his office and, quote, defrauded the United States to enrich his family. Republicans revealed that since 2014, the Biden family and its associates received more than $27 million from foreign individuals and entities. They also found that while Biden was serving as vice president, the Biden family got more than $8 million in loans from Democratic benefactors, and they say those loans have not been repaid. So this report says, in part, quote, as vice president, President Biden actively participated in a conspiracy by, among other things, attending dinners with his family's foreign business partners and speaking to them by phone, often when being placed on speakerphone by Hunter Biden. Republicans are calling out a 2014 dinner that Hunter Biden and his father attended with a Russian oligarch. After that dinner, the oligarch wired $3.5 million to Hunter Biden's firm. Now, this report says, quote, several witnesses testified that Hunter Biden invoked his father in business dealings with Romanian, Chinese, Kazakhstani, and Ukrainian companies, resulting in millions of dollars flowing to the Biden family. They're also calling out Biden for his handling of classified documents. House Republicans are now calling for Biden to be impeached. Ainsley?
All right. Whoa! I mean, this guy had quite an operation going on. Now, keep in mind, at the time that his father was the vice president of the United States of America, he was the guy who was in charge of Ukraine policy. We have him on tape, Joe Biden, at a CFR, Council on Foreign Relations event, telling everyone how proud he was of how he got rid of that prosecutor, that corrupt prosecutor. That corrupt prosecutor was actually doing an investigation into none other than the now defunct, because it was corrupt, energy company, natural gas company called Burisma, that was paying his son in the vicinity of $83,000 a month for a, quote, board job, which is, by the way, unheard of. Listen, I've covered business a long time. Nobody has an $83,000 a month board job. And the son got two of them, by the way, because his business partner was also being paid $83,000 a month by this company that was being investigated by this Ukrainian prosecutor that Joe Biden, as head of Ukraine policy, said, you got to get rid of. If you don't fire the guy, you know what? You're not going to get the money. You're not going to get all the money that Ukraine at the time needed from the United States. So what do you know? As he said, son of a, you know what? They fired the guy. You bet they did. And Hunter got his $83,000 a month. So it doesn't look good, right? Like, can we just say, like, this does not look good, ladies and gentlemen? And so now this is coming forward and this doesn't look good. So you have all this information as it pertains to the $27 million and the allegations include money laundering. This is bad. This is the Oversight Committee that went and did this, and they're saying that basically this was a sort of pay-to-play influence type scheme. This is what they're alleging. They're calling it impeachable conduct. Obviously, it would be 292 pages. Wow. All coming out the day the whole DNC convention begins. So, of course, the other side's firing back, and they're saying, well, this is interesting timing, and you're just doing this for political reasons. I will say this, like, I was looking for this for some time, and it feels a little late to come now, especially given that Joe's no longer running. Although, you got to wonder, did they know? Democrats had to have known that this was coming forward, and was this part of what they did to push him aside? In other words, did Nancy Pelosi use this along with the failing polls to get him to move away. 292 pages, this impeachment inquiry that they have into none other than Joe Biden. The committee, they write, have accumulated evidence demonstrating that President Biden has engaged in impeachable conduct. Republicans now saying that there is, quote, overwhelming evidence that Biden participated in, quote, a conspiracy to monetize his office of public trust to enrich his family. And so they allege that the Biden family and the business associates are receiving tens of millions of dollars here, actually $27 million from foreign interests by, quote, leading those interests to believe that such payments would provide them access to and influence with President Biden. So that would mean you probably, Hunter, should have registered as a foreign lobbyist. Right? That's what Kellyanne Conway just did, because she's taking money from Ukraine to lobby on behalf of Ukraine with Republicans in Congress. And so that's what you do. I mean, if you're going to call daddy and say, hey, daddy, we need to get rid of this one prosecutor in Ukraine because he's looking into the company that I represent and I'm on the board of, you know what? You got to register as a foreign lobbyist. But Hunter never did that. That's a question. And actually, that hasn't come up with all the things they've gone after him for. I'm still waiting for that one to be the biggie. Because he should go away for, I mean, that's like espionage. Is it not? Like, I mean, if you're making money lobbying on behalf of these various companies and individuals to somehow influence U.S. policy, and it just came out, by the way, the other day, New York Times had to report on it, that in fact, Hunter was asking the State Department to pull some strings for him out of Italy in order to help one of his clients. And the Italian ambassador's like, whoa, I don't know if I feel so comfortable with this. I mean, this is a little awkward, right? You think? Yeah. But this is what the son, Hunter, was engaged in. The question then became, how much did Joe Biden know? And according to this 292-page report, he knew a lot and he understood exactly what was going on. I'm going to quote, as vice president, President Biden actively participated in his conspiracy by, among other things, attending dinners with his family's foreign business partners and speaking to them by phone, often when being placed on speakerphone by Hunter Biden. You know, I love it. You know, the Democrats are like, oh, no, this is just what happens. You know, you just call dad and say hi in front of all the clients at a dinner. And in some cases, you see, after these calls happened, what do you know? Money changed hands. In fact, Republicans reference a report in 2014, a dinner that Biden attended with his son, none other than Hunter, and Russian oligarch Yelena Baturina. After the dinner, Yelena Baturina wired $3.5 million to Hunter Biden's firm, Rosemont Seneca Thornton, according, again, to this documentation. And people are saying, well, wait, are these two things connected? Certainly feels that way, certainly seems that way. And so is this, in fact, the proof? Now, I have to read all 292 pages, so I'm going to have a very big night. You know, I'm going to be watching the DNC, and I'm going to have my 292-page report from the U.S. House of Representatives to really go through this more thoroughly. But I can tell you, it doesn't look good. I've said this all along. I mean, what about the Chinese billionaire, right, that suddenly disappeared, now defunct energy company that he ran, and he was trying to get some inroads in with none other than Hunter Biden, and one would assume Joey? And what did he do at one point? When Hunter Biden was in the middle of his divorce, he brought him a diamond. He actually physically gave him a diamond at a dinner in Florida. I mean, that's kind of weird. That's an interesting payment in kind, I suspect. So going on with the report, it says, based on the totality of evidence, it is inconceivable that President Biden did not understand that he was taking part in an effort to enrich his family by abusing his office of public trust. Not to mention the $8 million from the benefactors to the Democrat Party when they lent the money to Joe and he never bothered to repay it back. There's some weird stuff going on. The Democrats obviously feel very differently, and they're calling this a stunt, and they're saying it's failed. Quote, this failed stunt will only be remembered for how it became an embarrassment that their own members distanced themselves from as they only managed to turn up evidence that refuted their false and baseless conspiracy theories. Listen, I'm going to tell you one thing. If nothing else, everybody ought to admit, like, let's just be honest with each other. It is not appropriate for the son of the vice president in charge of Ukraine policy to have a job with an energy company that needs the blessing of the United States of America, that wants the U.S. on its side, to hire him. Now, I'm not saying the guy can't make a living, but let's go make an honest living, Hunter. How about that? Maybe you ought to register as a foreign lobbyist. But you see, he couldn't do that because Barack Obama actually forbade. He said, nope, nobody's going to be a foreign lobbyist in this administration. I don't want any of my cabinet members with family members out collecting fees based off of this theory or assumption or sort of the look and feel that you might have influence. So Barack was preventing that from happening. Hunter did it anyway. And now it's all coming out. It's all coming out. You better believe it. And I think he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble. I really do. Hey, remember to subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. Tell me what you think. Should the president resign over this?